Welcome back to the channel, everybody. This weekend, we're gonna get the Bronco back on the road by doing just one super simple thing, and that is fixing the motor mounts. As you can see, my air cleaner sits a little crooked. My entire engine sits a little crooked. Now, I bought motor mounts in the past, just some factory OE replacement style ones, and they didn't last at all. I had someone in the comments tell me that when I first put them in, and they told me that it wasn't gonna last after the first trail. So I hopped on Bronco Graveyard and bought these nice rebuildable motor mounts. Bronco Graveyard's kind of the only place I found where you can get them, but nonetheless, the motor mounts are pretty stout. I had to paint them up. We got them painted. Now they're super fresh, ready to go in. So now all we got to do is get the motor jacked up so we can get the motor mounts swapped. All right, so last time I replaced these motor mounts, I put a jack on the oil pan and picked it up, and it was an absolute pain in the ass. It's still going to be an absolute pain in the ass. There's kind of no going around that, but what I'm doing differently this time is I borrowed my buddy's little engine cherry picker thing that bolts onto the 4-bolt carburetor bracket, and then I should be able to grab my cherry picker and just pick the thing straight up. I should be able to pick it up higher, and hopefully that'll give me enough room to work around these motor mounts and get things actually installed. So we got to take the air cleaner off, my Holley Sniper off, get it out of the way. All right, so my plan of just lowering the truck down as far as I can go with the axle kind of drooping isn't gonna work because the hoist doesn't fit under the axle all the way down. So we gotta grab the tiny tires, throw the tiny tires on this thing so the suspension can compress and lower down a little bit more, and then we'll have a little bit of height above the axle as well. For those of you that are new here, these are my tiny tires. These are factory 17-inch Super Duty wheels on some car tires. They're my tires off of my old BMW. This is how I used to get the Bronco in and out of my garage because my garage door is only 7 feet tall, until I realized I could just air down the 37s pretty well, and it's a lot easier to get in and out of the garage with just airing down. But these still come in handy when I'm doing stuff like this, where I need the truck really low. Yeah, they work out really well. Now that you know what the tiny tires are, let's get them on the truck. Well, we're still smacking the axle, so I guess I'm throwing it on jack stands now. That was a waste of time in the tiny tires, but whatever. All right, we got her on jack stands now. Thank God I have a 2-post lift, because this would have been like a 30-minute task if I had to throw the tiny tires on, throw jack stand, just, yeah, whatever. Now, hopefully, it'll fit. Still barely fits, still doesn't reach. Maybe there's a mystery hole back here that I don't know about. All right, here's my solution to the cherry picker not going out all the way. First things first, I took out the bolt and extended this out. I have tension on the engine, so I think it'll hold. And it looks like the tube ends somewhere in here-ish. And so as you can see, it's already tilted down, and I'm worried we're gonna bend here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this little piece of square tube I have and shove it into both of them, and then hopefully that'll like brace it up a little bit. This is a pretty decent length where it can kind of support on both ends. So literally we're just gonna shove this on in here. like so-ish. And it'll at least help, right? It's obviously not the same size, so there still will be some flex. I'm not super worried about it because we're not pulling the engine out, right? We're just picking it up. So that should work. Now we gotta disconnect the motor mounts from the subframe and pick this up and see what happens. Alrighty, the bolts from the subframe are out. Now we just gotta lift it up enough to where we can get those studs out. Let's see what happens. Oh, it appears. It's holding it up now. Something's bound up. Is it like... So the motor mount on this side, the bottom part stayed in, and I'm assuming it's because the engine kind of shifted this way. But that part stayed in and definitely ripped the mount. So I guess I'll go on that side, try and take it off, and swap it out, and then put it back in, and then try and do more on this side, I guess. I think that's my best option right now. So let's give that a shot. All right, so I ended up having to put a jack on the transmission. I unbolted the transmission cross member, just enough to get it a little bit of lift. My transfer case cross member is still hooked up because I have an MP205, but it did give us just enough leverage. This side should be able to come out now. I don't know. I got the passenger side out, as you can see. It didn't last. It might have ripped when we were trying to get it out too, but we're ready to replace. I'm gonna try and get this one out at the same time. Luckily, with the Super Duty axles, you only have the single shock mount. If I was still factory Bronco stuff, I wouldn't be able to access this, but yeah. Let's keep giving this a shot. Might need to go up higher or something, I don't know. All right, we got the driver's side in. I had to kind of make it like a two-piece, take it apart, and then put the bushing in. As you can see, it's like sitting flat. I'm hoping it drops and it'll twist. I haven't tightened that center bushing yet. It's gonna be a little tricky to do in the truck, but I think that's my only option. Yeah, that's good. Whoa! The f was that? Okay, I'm gonna lower the jack down just a wee bit because the other side's good. Clearly I had something on tension. I don't know what it was, but it probably wasn't something that needed to be. Shit. That is not a sound you want to hear. All right, slap this other side in real quick. This side should be a lot easier. There's a lot more room over here. It's a lot higher over here for some reason, but let's get it in. All right, it's sitting on its own weight. As you can see, the engine stands loose. As you can see, it's sitting level again. I kind of just kept everything loose and let things settle where they wanted it to, just to confirm that it fits properly. And as you can see, this motor mount here is sitting pretty much the top of that triangle piece is like flush with the subframe component or with the bracket or whatever. And this side, which is a little more difficult to stick the camera down into, this side is also, ignore my EGR delete, it's flush right on top. So this thing is sitting exactly where it needs to be. Now we just need to tighten the swivel part, tighten the nuts to the subframe. But right now we can remove the hoist out of the way and the jack out of the way. Figure out what the hell we bound up on, because we definitely bound up on something. Something definitely popped once it dropped and settled properly, but I have no idea what it was. I must say, my swamp cooler today is making things very swampy. That's for sure. Check this out. We're 72 degrees, 69% humidity. That much humidity is not normal here in Utah, hence why swamp coolers work. Feeling pretty stagnant, feeling like I'm in the East Coast or something. Drop a comment below, let me know what your humidity percentage is where you live. I'm really curious. Here in Utah right now, it's 87 degrees outside and 25% humidity. But in the shop, it's 70% humidity thanks to the swamp cooler. But it's also 73 in here, so pretty comfy. Anyways, let's finish these motor mounts.
1 hour later.
All right, we got the motor mounts buttoned up completely, tightened the cross bolt between the two. Then we got the transmission mount bolts back in. I probably am gonna need to replace that. As you can see, it's cracking pretty good. I did have a buddy recommend me to replace that with a poly one, since I'm poly motor mounts, but I got a question for you guys in the comments below. I wanna see your opinion on this because I'm rattling my brain on this. Since I have an NP205 swapped in here, the NP205 has its own mount because it's a really heavy transfer case, so I wanted the other extra support. And now I'm wondering if I could just support the transmission off of this and just ditch the transmission crossmember and mount, just because it's already supported at the back end Factory, it's that transmission cross member, then the transfer case just hangs, but the factory transfer case is a Borg Warner, and it is aluminum case. It's way lighter. The MP205 is just a ridiculous transfer case. So I don't know if I need both, because in theory it should hold, but it's really, then your strength is on, I really don't know. I don't know what makes more sense, buying a poly transmission mount or just deleting it and using the transfer case mount. Let me know what your guys' opinion are in the comments below. I'm really curious what some other opinions would be on that. But now that everything underneath is taken care of, we can lower the lift back down and put the Holley Sniper back on and fire this thing up. Alrighty, we got the entire engine bay put back together. The motor is sitting nice and flat, nice and level, exactly how it should. It looks really good. Really happy with that. We're gonna start it, make sure we didn't bump anything. We had some weird like hoist issue, and just see how she does, so. As you guys just heard, I'm still having issues with my starter. It likes to spin and catch some bad teeth. Something we're gonna have to dive into soon. I really don't want to, because I'm gonna have to drop the transmission for like the 6th damn time in this truck. But luckily, someone commented on one of my videos and gave me a bunch of information. He like info dumped information on the starter. So it's something I have to research, something I have to look into. I'll provide more of that information once I'm actually ready to make a full video about it and provide some solutions. The starter's stuck spinning, and it seems like the Bronco, its battery's a little dead, but yeah, let me just get a socket on the starter. Let me turn the truck and try and get it started again. Sweet, that looks like that turned out pretty good. There's one more thing I want to do today, so let's dive into that. So the next thing I want to tackle on the Bronco is regarding the interior. Now last Christmas I got a dash mount from JC Customs. It's a super cool, just versatile slotted mount where I can mount pretty much anything I want to it, and it's finally time to add some accessories to it. I got this ram mount set here. I got a 1/4-20 single screw ball with a clamp, and then I got a wireless charger mount. I bought a wireless charger on Amazon, but I guess Apple is proprietary to their wireless charger, and this will only fit an Apple wireless charger. It does not snap in. So, unfortunately, we're not gonna be able to test this or demo it, but we can at least, I guess, position it on the bracket today. And then I guess I'll have to get a proprietary Apple charger for this, which is really unfortunate because the Apple charger was like 30, 40 bucks for one charger. And I bought this 2-pack of wireless chargers on Amazon for like 20 something. So if you want links, I will link every individual of these pieces down below. Same with these wireless chargers that don't fit, and I guess the Apple specific ones that fit as well. Nonetheless, let's get this installed. We need a 1/4-20 bolt, a washer, and a little bit of Loctite on those threads because this thing's gonna be bouncing around a lot. Alrighty, 1/4-20 bolt with a little bit of blue Loctite. Now we kind of have to just kind of play around with it. So eventually I would like a walkie-talkie here, some like factory comms, and then like a keypad. So I think keypad here, walkie-talkie here, or vice versa. But I think phone closest. So I think probably like there. Probably there, because then I can tuck the wire, because I'm going to tuck the wire back here and then drop it down and try and coil it up. So I think this pole will do good. The 1/4-20 screw fits like perfectly in there. And yeah, we're just going to tighten her down. Yeah, that'll be perfect. Sweet. Fortunately, I don't have a charger, so now we gotta, let me see if I can overnight one on Amazon. Well, it looks like I can overnight a charger, so I will do that right now. so we can see the final result tomorrow.
72 hours later.
Alrighty guys, well unfortunately Amazon delayed my order multiple times and I ended up canceling it because I was tired of waiting on it. So, with that being said, we can't finish this video. I gotta get this video out. So, we're gonna have to call it here. Next video, I will try and have a proper charger in here and we can show that off. And take this thing out and actually drive this thing around. That's the goal. So, be on the lookout for that. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. We'll see y'all next week. Peace.